this video, I want to talk about a topic that is so often misunderstood, that it often leads people to dismiss it, to misconstrue it, and believe it to be false without even knowing the complexity of it, without even knowing how deep its foundations are. This topic is astrology. Now, oftentimes when we hear the term astrology, we hear the question, what sign are you? Are you a Virgo? You seem to be communicating a lot. You must be a Gemini. Hold on. You're really disciplined. You have to be a Capricorn. I can feel it. You must be an Earth sign. Now, although these things may or may not be valid in the astrological community, it is because of these various general statements that we have and general conceptions of astrology that it is often brushed away as if it is a joke, as if it is something that is just for fun. But in the process of propagating this type of, understanding of astrology, what happens is we miss the complexity of it. We do not allow other people to see how deep it really can be. So in today's video, I want to talk about Vedic astrology, and in hopes of kind of helping us reassess the view of astrology for the masses, so that it is not something that's just brushed away. Because I assure you, there is gold and various gems underneath something what seems to be superficial. So, Vedic astrology is an astrological science approach that has existed in India, ancient India, for thousands of years. I mean, it is seen in the Atharva Veda from 1000 BCE and onwards. Different astrological planetary combinations and how they impact different beings. In fact, in 500 CE, the Saravali talks about these various conjunctions and planetary impacts, and texts like Paladipika and Bruhat Parashara Horashastra, very ancient texts, talk about different sutras and verses and how these planets impact us in a certain way and how we are. Now, first of all, the first most important thing to understand is this. There are 9 planetary deities. We have the Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. That is the Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. These 9 planetary deities have different personalities. The Sun with its authoritative, powerful, egoistic nature. The Moon with its soft, charming, peaceful, yet charming, seductive personality. We have Mars with its aggressive, fighting instinct. We have Saturn with its disciplined, grief-inducing, lesson-producing personality. We have Mercury with its playful and also charming, yet intellectual nature. 9 planetary deities and 12 signs. 12 signs are as follows: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. 12 signs are categorized as water, air, fire, or earth, and also having orientations of cardinal, mutable, and fixed. The Sun being in Virgo is different than the Sun being in Gemini, and the Moon being in Cancer is different than the Moon being in Libra. And so Venus being in Taurus is different than Venus being in Capricorn, and on and on and on. We have 12 houses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And signs in different houses. Start off with Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Whether we start off with Aries or whether we start off with Taurus or whether we start off with Virgo, it does not matter because each sign occupies a certain house. Houses represent different things. The first house being the self and the body and the general disposition of the individual. The seventh house being marriage, the others, masses, and partnerships. The 10th house being status, career, and public image. Fourth house being the mother and home. 12th house being isolation, moksha, and so on and so forth. 9 planetary deities, 12 signs, 12 houses. Within each sign, there's 2.5 nakshatras. That is, within each sign, there are 2.5 constellations that have different personalities. Cancer has Pushya, Punarvasu, Ashlesha. Pushya with its nurturing nature, represented by the cow's udder, and Ashlesha, represented by the snake or the naga, with its secretive, seductive, yet mystical nature. Mruga Shirsha and Gemini with its deer-like searching nature. And we also have Ardra in Gemini with its destructive yet childlike nature. And so on, we have 27 different nakshatras, 9 planetary deities, 12 signs, 12 houses, and 27 nakshatras. Within each nakshatra, there's 4 padas, 4 subsections. That makes 108 different places, subsections, in which each planet, each of the 9 planets can reside in. So we can have the sun in Bharani, we can have the sun in Aries, but also the sun in Aries in Bharani Nakshatra. The sun in Aries in Bharani Nakshatra, Pada 2. We can have Venus in Cancer, but Venus in Pushya. And we can have Venus in Cancer in Pushya in Pada 4. We can have Saturn in Kritika. We can have Saturn in Taurus. Saturn in Taurus in Kritika. Saturn in Taurus in Kritika, Pada 3. All these different combinations. So that is 9 planetary deities, 12 signs, 12 houses, and 27 nakshatras, and 108 different padas. That is, also each planet has its own aspect. Drushti, from the Sanskrit root drush, to see. The sun placed in the first house will aspect the 7th house. The Saturn placed in the first house will aspect the 3rd, 7th, and 10th house from itself, giving its disciplined, harsh, cold nature to those planets and houses. Venus will aspect the 7th house from itself. Mars will aspect the 4th, 7th, and 8th house from itself. And Jupiter the 5th, 7th, and 9th house from itself. Planets have degrees determining whether they are young, childlike, or whether they're old or mature or in the middle. They have different comfort zones, discomfort zones. Saturn being placed in Libra can be very, very comfortable, but placed in Aries can be uncomfortable. But yet in its own sign, in Capricorn or Aries, could be also comfortable. However, the sun can be uncomfortable in Libra, but very, very comfortable in Aries. So, 9 planetary deities, 12 signs, 12 houses, 27 nakshatras, 108 padas, different aspects, different degrees. And we think astrology is, what's your sign? Are you a Taurus? So the reason why I made this video is for us to just look into the different complexities of Vedic astrology. And Western astrology has this too, all these different variations. Maybe not nakshatras, definitely not nakshatras, but they have their, complexities. But I want us to understand that Vedic astrology, or astrology in general, is not simple. It's very deep. And so whether it's true or not, I want us to at least give it some respect and justice that it deserves, in the sense in regards to its complexity and intricacies, before we dismiss something. And this applies to anything. Whenever we want to understand a person, we're encouraged not to judge that person because we know that person's life stories can shape them into who they are right now. So oftentimes, if an individual is acting in a certain way, we tend to disregard that person's past, right? We don't know what happened to them. Sometimes we just make that judgment. But it's only later on that we develop compassion from the things that they've experienced that makes us actually look past the things that they're doing in certain ways, Person may cut you off in traffic or may say something rude to you, but then you later on find out that he went through a hardship that day. You may actually feel compassion. So in the same manner, things are complex. things are not that simple when you look at certain phenomena. So, the purpose of this video was to demonstrate the complexity of astrology. And hopefully, when we start to see it this way, we won't undermine other things, let alone astrology, just because they appear to be so simple at first. And so when we actually see things as they are, that is, when we actually see things in their original context and how they developed and whatnot, we'll actually begin to understand other cultures. We'll begin to see how they conceived of the world. And we will throw away our biases and we will actually start to understand people instead of just watering down certain concepts. So, hope this video helped, and we'll talk about something else next time. So thanks for watching. I may have said that Saturn rules Capricorn and Aries, but it's Capricorn and Aquarius. Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. So once again, Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. I'll get this right one day.